herbal-infused sea moss gels, which can be purchased 1 for $25 or 2 for $40. This sea moss contains 92 of the body's 102 essential minerals used to increase energy, relieve pain and inflammation, and improve blood pressure and more. From parasite cleanse to detox and weight loss to blood sugar control, Sonia Face Botanicals has a natural solution for you.
Viola's Menswear, 2727 West Cervantes Street, Pensacola, Florida. Gentlemen, fine clothing at an affordable price. Suits starting at $139. Dress, shoes, hats, and accessories. Here at Viola's Menswear, 2727 West Cervantes Street in Pensacola, Florida. Call today at 429-7146, 2727 West Cervantes Street in Pensacola, Florida.
All right, Pensacola, good morning, good morning. You got Vernon this morning. Yes, sir, you have Vernon this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the news today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the news. So if you hadn't had time to pick up your paper, if you hadn't had time to do whatever you need to do to get your news, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just the headline so you'll know at least what's going on in the community and on the news. Okay? On the news. Okay, now, the state of Florida has decided that it's in the headlines this morning, on yesterday's news and today's news, that a guy by the name of John Walsh, the individual that was responsible for the death of those two kids. He sexually assaulted them and murdered them and then set them on fire, set the trail on fire. They are seeking the death penalty. Okay? They are seeking the death penalty. Okay? And also, if you are a Denny connoisseur, Denny's is closed. Denny's is closed. They've been having some issues for a while, and now I don't know how true it is. This is the sideline, just the opinion side here, but I was told once that Denny's was black owned, but I have not verified that. Don't know that for a fact. Those that have been rumored for a long time. But at any rate, Denny's across the nation has been running into financial difficulties, and you probably will see a lot more of the Denny's closing around the country. But as of yesterday, the Denny's in Pensacola are closed. If you got kids into the school system, you might want to check out this program. The Hennings company, they giving free vision tests and free glasses for your kids. Okay? So check with the teachers, check with the school board, check with the principal, check with anybody for your kids' eye care. Sometimes kids don't know that they don't need glasses until they are tested. So check with your teachers and see if you can get in on that free vision at school. The other part of the news is that if you're an automotive fan, okay, snowball derby is over with. This was the 58th snowball derby, 58th snowball derby, okay? And it got delayed due due to the weather. Okay, got delayed due to the weather. Okay? And but it ended yesterday. A guy by the name of Stephen Nasty, or something like that. If I'm pronouncing it right, his name right. He was driving car number 51. He's the big winner of the snowball derby, the 58th annual snowball derby. Uh, Pensacola, I mean, when we're saying that snowball derby, some folks actually benefited from the snowball derby because if you ever go out there, you know that parking is very limited. Just like almost like when you're going to the fair, parking is almost limited there on Pine Forest Road. So at least some folks had an opportunity, had a business opportunity, and made a little bit of money off of by letting folks park in their yards and for a fee, for a fee. So that was a good. That was a good. That was a good. Now in some areas, I'm told that your property, you might want to check the property tax. Property taxes already, notice is already been sent out. You got to the end of the year to take advantage of the discount. Okay? Take advantage of the discount. Starting in January, it it increases every month. It increases every month until it's paid. Okay? And so, but some folks had enjoyed a little drop in their time. Not me, but some folks did. So you might want to check your taxes, your tax roll, your property, property tax, check your property tax. See if you got a see that you was one of the people that actually benefited from it. Another thing that's made the news, see the Pensacola red light. Okay, gotta be careful. Okay, be driving in the city of Pensacola. They got red light cams strategically located out throughout the city limits of Pensacola. We was talking to Mike Woods yesterday, and the city wasn't intending to make a lot of money off of this. That wasn't their intent. Their intent was for safety, and I'm glad they did because you they have made a lot of money. I had the numbers here at one time, but I don't know what I do with them. But they have made a lot of money as a result of the red light camera, and that's alarming. To be honest, it's alarming. And we have no idea that so many people are running red lights. I've had friends die because people ran red lights. People die. So this is a deterrent for them to slow down, slow down. And you will get a ticket. You will get a ticket in the mail. And you and if you only it doesn't go against you. The first time I'm told, I don't have Mike Woods talk about it. Either Sheriff Chip Simmons. Chip Simmons is coming on Friday at 8:30. But I will have one of those talking about when it started affecting your driver's license. I think you can get one or two of these tickets right now and pay like $100 and some fine for running the red light. But after you get so many of them, like two or three of them, then it does affect your insurance and it does affect your points on your license. But more than that, more than that, this is serious business. Okay, serious business. Respect the red light. Don't try to. If 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds could make a difference between life and death, and it could make a difference between your life and your death. Okay, or somebody else's life and your death. See the red light. If you see the light turning yellow, slow down. Okay, and prepare to stop. Okay? Don't try to beat the light. I know people in a hurry, and I'm guilty myself. I did it a lot of times, but I've been more aware lately than I ever been before because of the red light. And so try not to do that. It is absolutely dangerous to do that. Okay? Absolutely dangerous to do that. So if I were you, number one, it will save you money, and number two, it will save your life. Well, let me put it that way. Number one, it will save your life. And number two, it may save you money. Now, I guess you're wondering what the weather is doing. Well, if you're planning outside activities, you're going to be okay for the rest of the week. I understand that this week, for the remainder of this week, there is little possibility of rain. In fact, they are predicting that there is only about zero chance of rain. We're good through Sunday. We're good through Sunday from what I'm told. But you know what they say about the weatherman? You know how you know the weatherman line? So don't rely upon that 100%. But know that we got good weather as far as fair weather. Rain. We not have to worry about rain. I don't understand when we have rain, we complain about the rain. When we have no rain, we complain about having no rain. But this week, if you got some outside activities, this is a good week to do it. In fact, the temperature is going to be great, what I call great winter temperature for Florida. It's going to be in the high in the low 60s during the day, and the lowest is going to be in the low 40s, as I'm told, in the evening. So that's good. That's good mild weather. All right, y'all. Don't have to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I want to talk about some stuff that's going on in the national news, and also stuff that we need to know about what's going on in around. Okay.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Arthur Searcy in Pensacola today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I remember these. Will I have the money to send my kid to college? Well, that's specific. How long has that been there? 7-letter word for a bank that helps you reach your goals.
Synovus. Order for Synovus?
Thank you.
Are you Synovus?
Yes.
Are you gonna ask or should I?
A solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Let's talk about your potential today.
Stash your money somewhere smarter. With 5.05% APY, PenAir's high-yield checking puts your money to work and earning big. PenAir Credit Union. Join us.
Navigating healthcare is hard. Baptist makes it better. With convenient locations, easy scheduling, and skilled, compassionate doctors. All when you need us most. The next time you need care, let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
All right, Pensacola, welcome back. Welcome back to Vernon in the Morning, y'all. I want you to spread the word about Vernon in the Morning show so you can find out what's going on in your community. This is the information station, okay, what I call the information station, so you can know what's happening. In fact, what motivated this show is the Hill in the Morning show. It's Hill in the Morning. Robert Hill, as you know, retired. He sold the station. Now he's writing books. Okay, and so for so long, he was so used to getting the information that you need from the Hill in the Morning show. So I'm picking up the pieces. He passed the baton to me and said, Vern, you need to go ahead and take care of that. Since the new owners did not adopt this format, hey, when one door closes, another door opens. Okay, another door opens. So that means that two things happen. Okay, two things happen as a result of it. I picked up this format. Okay, and the format that the new owners don't want. You know what they say? Somebody's trash is another person's treasure. Okay, that's what they say. One person trash, another person treasure. So all the things that they didn't want, I'm taking. Okay, I'm picking up. Okay, I'm picking up as a result of it. The Hill on the Morning show now it's called Vernon this morning. Okay, so you can still get the information that you can. We still have some of the same guests that Hill had on. We're going to be having Jerry on about. He's going to come on at 8 o'clock. We're going to have the sheriff on. We're going to have the mayor on. We're going to have the jobs on. The job for East UA, the job for Montgomery County. We got Commissioner Mays on. So we got the same Hill in the Morning format. You just need to spread the word. Okay, you need to spread the word. If you're looking at this from Facebook, please share. Please share on your Facebook page because I only got so many friends. I only know so many people. I only know so many people like me. So so you need, but they like you. You just go on your Facebook page, and when you go on your Facebook page, you just share on the Facebook page, okay? And and uh, and tell everybody that Vernon is on this morning. I do want to say good morning to Sister Lois Pruitt. She's checking in from St. Louis, Missouri. She's always checking in. Hey, Sugar. And Miss Doris Hayes. Good morning, Miss Doris Hayes. Uh, she wants me to talk a little bit more about the MLK parade, which I will. I will talk about the MLK parade this morning. If you have any information that you need me to pass on, if you got any information that you need me to pass on, I just need you to text it to me. Okay? Just text it to me at this number here, 850-293-5007. Okay? 850-293-5007. Okay? Text it to me, and you can email it to me at wbqp@wbqp.com. Okay? Just as easy, and I would get it on for you. No charge. You don't have to worry about it charging. I'll get the information on anything you want to spread the word. I just spread the word. If you're looking at us on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, however you're looking at us, particularly on YouTube, I want you to share and like and subscribe. Okay, subscribe if you will. Subscribe to the channel. Miss Doris, she wanted me to talk about the MLK parade, which I am going to talk about it a little bit later on. But this is the number here, y'all. This is the number so you can sign up for the MLK parade. 850-378-9242. Now, we black folks, you know we wait till the last minute. I guess we wait because we waiting on that last check to come in. But if you're going to be in the parade, just let us go. Even though you ain't going to reserve your space in the parade. Just reserve it. Instead, and Ghouls and I owe you. Did you get your coffee yet? I got mine. Miss Doris, you got coffee like this? Look at it. Y'all need to wake up Vernon every morning. Wake up, Vernon every morning. Okay. All right, now I said I'm gonna get a little bit of news, national news. Let me talk about what's going on around the world. One of the things that affect us black folks, I'm glad to hear this news. Jasmine Crockett, y'all remember the congressman from Texas, Ms. Jasmine Crockett? She is now running for Senate. She's going to be running for Senate in 2028, I believe it is. And but with this redistricting thing, which they're going to talk about when we get on today at 8, he's going to talk about the redistricting thing. They drew her out of her own district. It made it impossible for her to win. So now she's running for Senate, and hopefully that she can win in the Senate. Now, if you got people like I do that live up north, up in particular up in the northeastern, like Cooter, I know Cooter live up in the northeast there. They got some really severe weather coming through, freezing weather. So you just tell your folks to be careful about that. The weather change is nothing to play with. Also on the national scene, the Maggione case. Y'all remember him? He's the guy that shot the United Healthcare CEO. He's on trial. But it's one thing about having money and having a good lawyer means something, okay? His lawyers can look like they may have some success with it, or trying to suppress or throw out some evidence, some crucial evidence that will convict him, like the backpack they found, and they illegally they didn't follow the cops did not follow proper procedure when they arrested him. It's amazing the technicalities that lawyer can find, and that's what was happening with him. Okay, some technicality. So he very well may do that. Also, on the other part of the national scene that's going on in the national headlines is that, remember the Venezuela strike? The Trump administration, in my opinion, is illegally bombing what they call drug. Okay? Let me tell you this, and this is my opinion. I'm going to try to associate opinion from fact. The fact is that they are dropping bombs on Venezuelans' drug, okay? And they're in hot water because they have probably committed a war crime. You cannot bomb. They had a second strike. Number one, it was a war crime, in my opinion. From the strike from the first time. But be that it is made, they struck in the first time. But then hours later, when these people had a couple of survivors on the boat, and they went back and bombed them again, which is against international law and against the Geneva Convention. You cannot bomb survivors and stuff like that. Okay, so they're in hot water. Trump, again, Trump is just like the weatherman. Okay, Trump is just like the damn weatherman. When he lying, you can tell when he's lying when his lips move. Okay, well, in fact, he's worse than the weatherman. Every time he opened his mouth, he lied. He had said the other day he was going to release the video of that bomb. But now, after he got a chance to look at it, to save his buddy's ass, kept his ass, now he refusing to release it. Now he backtracked on that. Okay? He backtracked on that. But let me tell you this. This is my opinion again. I think this is not about drugs. Okay? In my opinion, it's not about drugs. They're trying to create a fight with Venezuela because with Maduro down there, he's the president. They want to kick him out. They want a regime change with him, and they got a handpicked female they want to replace him with. So why? It's not about drugs. It's about oil. Venezuelan got the biggest oil reserve in North America, maybe perhaps the world. They want to control that oil. You can believe that. That is what this is all about. This is what we call a false flag. False flag. It's about that girl. Yeah, that girl. We call it oil. Y'all, some of you probably call it in Vernon, we call it girl. It's about that Earl, okay? And so don't be fooled. It's not about drugs, not about any of that. It's trying to uh, force this guy into a war. Okay, that's why they put those ships and things off the coast of in the Caribbean there, so that they can take over the country and put in who they want to do in, so they can control that oil. It's absolutely astonishing what this administration is doing. Cruel as it is. All right, let me move on. Let me turn the page. Okay, I guess you heard about they had a major earthquake over in Japan on yesterday. Not only the earthquake is bad, even the aftershock. You know anybody? You know we got people living around the world. You know anybody in Japan? You might want to check. Uh, Another headline in the news is that now Trump again, the Trump administration, now have to bail out the farmers. Okay, like they did at the last administration, put these damn tariffs on. Okay, and now China retaliated by not buying soybeans from the United States. They hadn't spent one penny. United States was one of their biggest suppliers of soybeans. And so farmers that raise soybeans this year have to climb over because they can't sell them. China is not buying soybeans. So therefore, we the taxpayers now will have to bail out. Okay, we're bailing out the farmers. I think he was talking about $20 billion or something like that to bail out the farmers. Now, watch this bailout and see if black farmers get into that money. Just check on that. Okay? All right, turning a different thing. I reported yesterday that Netflix was trying to buy. I believe it was what was it? Netflix was trying to buy Warner Brothers. Yeah, Netflix was trying to buy Warner Brothers, and of course, Trump had an issue with it because I guess he's trying to figure out how he's going to profit from it. Opinion again, how he's trying to profit from it. Okay, so he had an issue with it, but then yesterday Paramount, you know, that Netflix was going to offer $84 billion, something $84 trillion for Paramount. I mean, for Netflix. But then yesterday, with another hostile takeover, Paramount it offered $104 billion meet for Netflix. So it's going to be it's battling war. Okay, battling war. Okay. Now the last thing I want to talk about on the national news thing is kind of ended on a little bit on a soft note here, if you will. You know, soft note. Martha Stewart. Everybody know Martha Stewart. Yeah, you're right. So Martha and what's going on between her and Snoop Dogg anyway? Anyhow, that's a whole different story. But Martha Stewart announced yesterday, and I know she's gonna have some legal issues with it. She said on yesterday that she wanted to, when she died, when she passed on, she wanted to be buried on her farm in compost. You know what I'm saying? In other words, what she's saying is just commit my body to the ground. Don't put no cement around me. Don't put me in no casket. Just put me in the ground and let me rot in the ground so I can fertilize my soil and stuff like that. I think that's what you want to do. And they don't think they want her to do because they claim it's unsanitary and all that kind of stuff. But she says her own farm. We'll see how that works out. Okay? And I believe, in my opinion again, I believe that is the way it should be in the first place. I know you're saying you out of you you're out of your mind. You're out of your rabbit ass mind. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't have. Well, think about it. I remember one time I had a cat. True story. I had a cat, and for some reason, my cat. We don't have a cat today because Bert called my cat died on for whatever the reason. Okay, and I buried my cat. I didn't put him into a box, shoebox, anything. I just dug a hole on my property on the hill, and I dug a hole and I committed his little body to the ground. And then I noticed that spot where I buried that cat. The grass was greener and everything around that little spot that he was composing was much richer than the other stuff around. So I think that was Martha Stewart was talking about, and in fact, with all the other animals in the world when they die, they commit themselves back to the ground, you know. Except people. That's neither here nor there. But I just thought I just throw that in with the Martha Stewart. Okay, with the Martha Stewart. All right, let me talk about a little bit about community news. Okay, a little bit of community news. But before I do that on the community news, I need to take another commercial break. And when I come back, I'll talk about some of the community news. Okay, got me? See?
Navigating heart care can be challenging. Baptist makes it better with the latest treatments and innovations and the area's largest, most experienced heart team ready to create a care plan just for you. All when you need us most. Let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
Hey, Escambia. Today, we're talking trash, specifically bulk waste.
Starting July 1st, 2023, bulk waste service will be called for pickup. You can schedule a pickup by calling the ECUA Customer Service Department anytime before 2 p.m. on the day prior to your normal pickup day. Bulk pickup is still included at no additional charge.
Check out ecua.fl.gov for more information.
Know what to throw, 850.
From affordable home equity lines and home loans to high-yield checking that pays 5.05% APY, Pen Air combines innovative banking with a commitment to our community. Pen Air Credit Union. Join us.
Hey, I'm Jessica Ford. I'm the owner of FD Builds. Energy efficiency is very important in today's market. With higher interest rates and rising costs, it's important that home buyers maintain their bottom line of affordability. The nice thing about natural gas and natural gas appliances is that it's more energy efficient than their electrical counterparts, and at the end of the day, the utility bills are lower. Our relationship with the Pensacola Energy team is phenomenal. From customer service to their field teams, it's just a seamless process. We love Pensacola Energy.
Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home has been in business since 1913. Hi, I'm David Hawkins, the owner of Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, saying we are a full-service funeral home. We offer pre-need funeral planning. We have a newly remodeled chapel and conference facility. Stop by and see us today. We have 9 vehicles, all waiting to service you. At Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, we appreciate your stopping by. On behalf of all of our family here at Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, thank you so much for allowing our family to serve you.
All right, good morning again. You got Vernon this morning, yes, sir, on the new Vernon in the Morning Show. Coffee, wake up, y'all. Wake up with Vernon. Wake up with Vernon every morning, starting at 6:30 to 9. Y'all spread the word about the show. Now, if you're concerned about how to get us, okay, how to get us, number one, if you go on social media, you can get us easy. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on all of the social media pages, okay? On all the social media pages. But another easy way to get us is that you can get us on TV or radio, okay? TV or radio. And so what do you mean TV or radio, Vernon Watson? Well, we created an internet radio station, WBQP Radio, as well as WBQP TV. All you have to do, get on your phone, just text, you go to your phone and text rdo.co /WBQP. Text it to your friends, okay? Text it to your friends. Everybody that you know, text it to them, okay? Text it to them, and that will bring up the WBQP app, okay? Will bring up the WBQP TV app. I'll tell you what it will look like when you bring it up, okay? You bring it up, and you got it right in the palm of your hand, okay? You got it. This is what the app look like, okay? This is what the app look like. You got everything right in the palm of your hand. Everybody can see it right here, okay? In other words, when you go, you don't have to miss it. You can go just like your phone here. You can take it to the toilet with you. You can take it to the work with you. You can take it to the doctor's office with you. You can take it everywhere. You got me anywhere. Just now, if you want to listen to the radio station live, just type WBQP Radio Live. It'll bring you up the radio station. Look, it's radio you can see. It's unlike your old radio station. This is not your granddaddy radio station. This is your radio station where you can actually see your music playing. Okay, you know we when we play music on WBQP radio, it's going to be music that you can see. It ain't just listen to it. You got an option. You can look at it, you can watch it, or you can just listen to it. It's up to you. Sometimes it's hard to aim this thing, but anyway, this is fun, right? This is what it looked like. If you got tired of that, if you got tired of listening at the radio, you want to see what's going on TV, then you can go to just tap on the WBQP TV. We got a brand new network, y'all. We got a brand new network called the National Black Television, NBT. NBT. It's an upstart new black network that we're associated with, and we got good programming and so forth. Also, while I'm on that same note, if you got to watch TV, we are upgrading WBQP TV in the first quarter of 2026. Some of you may have had issues trying to receive WBQP TV. Hopefully, we're going to resolve that issue with an antenna. Okay, we are going from the VHF frequency to the UHF frequency. Okay, that might not mean a lot to you right now, but what it means is that you will be able to pick it up better with an inside antenna. Okay, that's what that's going to mean. You're going to be able. If you had an outside antenna, you could pick up WBQP probably no problem. But with people that had inside antennas had a little bit of issues of trying to pick up WBQP, simply because on the VHF frequency we're on channel 12. We're not going to change the channel. Channel is always going to be the same, but we're going to change frequency. But the VHF frequencies don't penetrate buildings real good. Okay, it don't penetrate buildings real good. But the UHF frequency penetrates building real better. So that means that you can use a small inside antenna starting after in January 26th to pick us up. Okay, it's almost like the comparison I can tell you is between it's just like AM and FM. You know how when you had the AM frequencies and you had a lot of noise and stuff in the AM frequency, but when you change to FM, it's a lot more clear. Same thing in the television business with the VHF channels and UHF frequencies. These are the frequencies that we're talking about. So you're going to be able to pick it up a lot better in the first quarter. Hopefully, in the first, if the creek doesn't rise, in the first quarter of 2026 with television. Okay? But right now, if you don't have an antenna, and most folks don't have an antenna, and most folks. A lot of folks are cutting their cable. You don't really need cable anyway. But a lot of folks are cutting their cable. But if you want to keep the cable, you still get that input in the back of TV just to add you an antenna if you really wanted to. But I can tell you what, if you add an antenna to your television, you're going to see that you don't need cable because all TVs now are smart TVs. Okay, all TVs now are smart TVs. And you're not going to need cable. You're gonna cut the cable. So you get all your HD, you get all your local channels in HD, and all the network channels. And most TVs have its own set of cable channels anyway. So there are hundreds of them. And but even if you didn't, if you want a certain channel, you can find anything you want on the internet. Okay, all TVs. The difference between a smart TV and a dumb TV is that a smart TV is able to access the internet. That's the reason they call it smart. Okay, if you don't have a smart TV that don't, is you can always buy a box like a Roku box. Okay, a Fire Stick box. These external boxes you can put on if you don't have a smart TV. They will make your TV smart. Okay? Make your TV smart. Now, speaking of that, WBQP TV is on Roku. We got several channels on Roku. And I did it purposely because sometimes nothing is 100%. If one system goes down, you got to back up. If you ever find any issues with the WBQP streaming channel, okay, find the issue with the streaming channel, then just go to the next one. But we on Roku, we on Fire Stick, we on Android TV, we on Apple TV, we on if you got a Samsung TV, all these apps, you can just dial up all up the apps on these TVs, and you got us 24/7. Okay? You got us 24/7 on those apps, if you will. Okay? And now go back to the radio. Well, how do I reach the radio station? Well, very easy, because a lot of folks now, you don't have radios in your house like you used to. Don't worry, I got your back. WBQP radio is on Alexa. Okay, WBQP radio is on Alexa. The only thing you got to say is, Alexa, play WBQP radio. We still in the process of building out the radio station. So I don't know. As I got a email yesterday from Alexa saying that we're about ready to put you on. So if you're not on just yet, it will be very, very short. Okay? Very, very short. So you don't have to get out of the bed. The only thing you just say is tell Alexa, 6:30 in the morning, tune to WBQP radio. It'll automatically come up. Okay? So we are going to be on Alexa. Now, if you're in your car, say, well, how can I get you in the car? Well, easy. Number one, you got this right here, okay, and you can just Bluetooth it to your car. That's one thing you can do. Number two, if you don't want to tap your Bluetooth for your phone, if you got CarPlay or Auto Android, you can just make sure you pull down the WBQP TV app on your CarPlay and your Auto Android, okay, Android Auto, okay. You can take us around the world. You ask, well, what is on WBQP radio? Well, right now I got a lot of Blueshound playing right now. So all of the old Blueshound shows are playing right now. I'm working up a format. We intend to have gospel, a segment of gospel on. We're gonna have a lot of Southern soul on. We're gonna have jazz on, and so forth. Okay, we're filling out the format, and if you think that you want to be a part of the WBQP radio, let us know. If you want to have your religious programming on, if you want to have a show on the radio, just let us know. We're there, and we'll definitely work with you. Okay? We're definitely there, and we definitely will work with you. Also, I know I'm talking a lot because I got a lot to say. Now, I know Miss Dora's mad at me right now. She said, Blueshound, you're doing all that talking, and you still hadn't gotten around to the MLK parade. All right. let's talk about some community news, okay? And I want to talk first about. I want to talk before I get to the parade because I got a lot to say about the parade. But one of the things I want to talk about is Star Child. Okay, Star Child services, you all, is going to be on Thursday, the 11th at the New Birth Church, okay, the New Birth Baptist Church on Q Street. That's where the service is going to be. The viewing is going to be on Wednesday from 1 to 5, 1 to 7, I believe, at the Joe Morrison Funeral Home. Just want to go down and view the body. When we want to attend the funeral, I would suggest you probably get there early because Star Child is pretty popular around here, so you might have to be standing room only. But if you do miss it, we are intended, WBQP TV is intended to live stream it if you aren't able to make it. Okay? And that, we're going to live stream it, and that's all depends when we do remote stuff. Sometimes it ain't always guaranteed. Okay? Sometimes we run into internet problems and so forth. But if the creek doesn't rise, we intend to live stream it live on Thursday, so you get a chance to see it live. And we will normally I would do it live on television, but to make that logistic happen, it's a whole lot to do it live on TV. But I will play it back on TV. Okay, I will play it back on TV. So if you want to get a chance to see, if you missed this homegoing services, I intend to live stream it out, and I intend to replay it back on television as well if you miss it. Now the repast, as I understand it, is going to be at 8:50. Okay, 8:50 Event Center. If you don't know where it is, you know where McDonald's is in the Town and Country Plaza area, right behind McDonald's, and it fits right between McDonald's and the not the Bathurst Club, the Apollo Club, okay, on Delano Street, okay, Bill Marshall place. So you know what I'm talking about. So that is where they intend to have the repast. I want to talk one of these days because I'm a history buff, and I always interested in the why stuff is stuff. Okay, I want to have to talk about why they call it repast and all that. All right, now MLK Parade, MLK Parade, Miss Star, MLK Parade. Listen, y'all, we are gonna have the 37th MLK Parade, Dr. Martin Luther King Parade. This is so important. These folks are trying to kill our history, kill our traditions. Okay? We must keep our histories and our tradition alive. Okay? This is our 37th annual parade. Okay? And I've been with them all along. There's been an attack from this administration on diversity, inclusion, banning books, attack on black folks. Okay, that's the way I feel. But that's okay. We're resilient people. We always we just like a cat. We always land on our feet. We're survivors, and we're not gonna let this turn us around. Okay? So just like the theme here said, with unity, we won't go back. Okay, trust me, we won't go back. Okay, and so again, I'm gonna see, and I want you to watch for yourself. Okay, I want you to watch for yourself. We have see if the sponsors agree with the Trump administration on sponsoring the parade. I got certain sponsors that always support the MLK parade, you know, without exception, and I hope they will continue again this year. But I don't know. I'm a little bit fearful that because of the position that the administration taking, they may also take the same position. But that just, I mean, time will tell on that. But better than that, we got to do for ourselves. Okay? We're gonna have to do it. Okay, we don't care. So we're gonna have this 37th parade, annual parade, whether Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, I don't care who don't want it. We are going to have our parade. We need to show up in force. Now is the time, than ever before, that we should show support for this parade. I heard that on this past weekend, y'all fact check me on this. Please fact check me, but I hadn't time to do the research. But Donald Trump did something, some kind of executive order, something trying to ban, to do away with Juneteenth and Black History. I know he's been doing some other stuff, but he did something over the weekend, as I understand it. When Jerry comes on, maybe Jerry know a little bit about that. We'll talk about that and see. Okay? We'll talk about that and see if that's true. But anyway, the parade is going to be on the 19th, 11 o'clock. We intend to do it live. We're going to have Blab TV to do it live. And the reason we use Blab TV, y'all, because we wanted to get it out on the Gulf Coast. Okay? I have to pay Blab to because I want this thing to go. It's not a moneymaker for nobody. Okay, not a moneymaker for me. I have to sacrifice some time and just barely making enough money to put the parade on. The people that I'm talking about from my point of view. I'm talking about to air the parade. Now for the folks just like Mike Keenan, now that put the parade on, a whole different ball game. And I was surprised. Once I became part of the committee. And I was surprised when people used to think that for some reason people give us money. I don't know what they think that the parade don't cost anything. Put on the parade costs tens of thousands of dollars, okay? To put on a parade. Tens of thousands of dollars, okay? We have to buy insurance. We have to pay for the streets to be closed. We have to pay the streets to be swept. We have to pay for toilets. Let me give you an example, okay? For the number of toilets that is required for the parade itself, it's around $4,000. Just for the toilets. But we have to have permits. We have to have church. We have to have golf carts. It's so much stuff that's involved with it, and we depend on the entries for the parade. The parade hadn't went up on their entry fees in a good while. As I understand, they're only like $175. That money goes to put on the parade. That parade is not a money maker. Okay? It used to be a money maker back in the day when we had a lot more people participating. We had a lot more churches involved. People that don't. You can still donate the parade. If you don't want to be in the parade, you can donate it. But I can tell you from being from a television and advertising point of view, that if you are an organization, you're a small business, you wanted exposure, the MLK parade will give you maximum exposure for the little bit of money you put in. You put in you cannot buy advertising anywhere, radio, TV, or internet for $150. Okay? But with that, you would get seen by many eyes on the streets, by many eyes on television, and many eyes on the internet, and it is the best money that you could ever spend. Okay? The best money that you can ever spend. Okay? On that. So go ahead and get registered for the MLK parade. Okay? Get registered for the MLK parade. All right. One other thing I do want to mention before I want to try to see if I can get Jerry on in just a few minutes, but also don't forget we got the Gospel Soul Bowl is coming up with Ed Snail. That's going to be on Saturday, January the 4th. Okay, on Saturday, January the 4th. Okay? And so you might want to go ahead and get your tickets down. The tickets are only $30 right now, but if you wait for the doors, it's like you're waiting on the MLK parade. Again, I want to put that number up again for the MLK parade. Put that number in. Just call that number or either go to the website. Call that number for the MLK parade. Okay? Get in. All right. Okay. I promise you a Black History moment. Okay. And I'm going to give you some black history, if you will. And then when we come back, hopefully we'll be talking with Mr. Jerry McIntyre on some issues. Okay?
I'm Henry Louis Gates Jr. My colleagues Robert Smith, Dylan McGee, and I really need your support. Our web series, Black History in 2 Minutes or So, has been nominated for 2 Webby Awards, and nothing could please us more than to have your support. Please go to vote.webbyawards.com and cast your vote for us in the documentary podcast category and the education and discovery social video category. Polls close today. Please go online and vote now. Black History in 2 Minutes needs your support.
All right, team, today we're at Avalon and El Segundo. We want Black Power.
The community that's been silenced rises up at some point and says, listen to us, see us.
The late 1960s and the 1970s saw a radical shift in black political thought, represented in the Black Power movement, the Black Panther Party, and the Black Arts movement. In the wake of Dr. King's death, the quest for civil rights became radicalized, and the black church was no exception.
James Cone was a leading theologian of the Black Power movement era who revolutionized the study of theology by arguing that Black liberation was at the center of what we should understand to be the preaching of the gospel.
The Reverend Dr. James Cone, a distinguished professor at Union Theological Seminary in New York, spoke out unflinchingly about race and racism, especially economic justice and the abuses of the prison system. The late 1960s marked a turning point in Cone's career when he turned to theology to amplify the voices of the black freedom struggle and center blackness within Christianity itself.
James Cone is arguing God is black. He means that God is so intimately connected to the welfare of black people that God is indistinguishable from them. This began the formation of an alternate theology for black churches that requires a different way of thinking about power.
But for some of his Black female counterparts, they found themselves frustrated that he didn't adequately account for the ways in which Black women in the church were directly impacted by gender, by patriarchy, by sexism.
I think one of the most interesting and important aspects of African American churches is that the majority of people who are in the pews are women. The success of those institutions has rested on the labors of Black women.
They saw themselves as departing from Black liberation theology in order to take seriously the experiences of Black women.
These women are using womanist theology as a way to raise up these concerns about the lack of recognition of the power and importance of Black women in those institutions.
Jacqueline Grant, who was one of the students of James Cone, became one of the founders of womanist theology. She established the women's study of religion at Harvard University and worked in the field of Christology with a very specific focus on the experiences of Black women and set the foundation for the field.
These righteous women of God were in pursuit of an interpretation of the Bible that reflected the realities of their existence, indeed the full range of their humanity. Interweaving a feminist worldview with Black power and the Word of God to form a womanist theology, these Black women shaped a Christianity they could truly call their own.
Alrighty, there you are, some Black history. I'm intending to put a segment of Black history on as much as I can every day, because I think it's becoming on us to keep our history going. Okay, if you read your history, remember when back in Africa they didn't have books. Okay? didn't have books, but yet the tradition of the African history was still passed on. And these people were called griots, and they were storytellers, and they passed on this history. Looked like everything to me looked like it comes into full circle. Okay, comes into full circle. And so you would definitely have to teach your kids about history. I remember when I grew up going to school, we didn't have black history in school. Okay? We didn't have black history in school. So, but we had to rely upon oral history. And so now with the banning of books and so forth, and I want you to go and go to your bookstores now, and you need to stock up on books. In fact, I tell people all the time, if the libraries and the schools are banning those books rather than burning those, I know they probably want you to burn those books. Don't burn those books. Collect those books. Bring them home to your children and let the children read the book. And if you go to Real Women Radio, Nicole has a black bookstore. She's one of the forerunners of Mrs. Georgia Blackman. Miss Georgia was the first black woman, and let's talk Pensacola black history. And I want to get Robin Richard on. Robin knows a lot of Pensacola black history, and we're going to have a Pensacola black history moment with Robin Richard as well. But with Mrs. Georgia Blackman was one of the first black people in this town to start a black bookstore. Okay? And now he's gone, but you are still able to find another black bookstore. So at the Real Women's Radio, they have a bookstore over there. So if you want the black book, Jerry Backen, which we're going to be hopefully talking to in a little bit here, he always talks about at the end of his show called Our Voices every Sunday night on WBQP at 7 p.m. At the end of the show, he always recommends a black book that you should read. And I think you should read it and pass it on to other folks that had not read the book, and recommend that we buy these books and read them to your children. One of the things I think that we need to get back to is teaching our own kids. And I say that because I went over to Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy one time, and I ended up doing a school tour. And I was so impressed how their teaching are very much like the teaching that I grew up with in an all-black school, okay, where the teachers actually cared about you, they wanted you to learn, and so forth. And I was so impressed that I had to get my grandchildren, my children were grown, but I had to get my grandchildren into the Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy because they care about students over there. And so, and I'm sure other black institutions do the same thing. So we got to get back. Okay, we got to get back to how we began. Okay, we got to get back to how we began. So, if you will, start teaching your kids. Okay, start teaching kids about that. It is very, very important that we don't lose our history. You know, there's an old saying about this, and we begin to see it happening today. Is that if you forget your history, I'm not quoting it, but I'm paraphrasing. If you forget your history, you're going to doom to repeat it. Okay? If you forget your history, or you don't know your history, you're going to be doomed to repeat it. Okay? And so just the way it is. Okay? All right, I'll be right back.
Navigating healthcare is hard. Baptist makes it better. with convenient locations, easy scheduling, and skilled, compassionate doctors, all when you need us most. The next time you need care, let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
From affordable home equity lines and home loans to high-yield checking that pays 5.05% APY, Pen Air combines innovative banking with a commitment to our community. Pen Air Credit Union. Join us.
Looking to start a career or change your current career? Pensacola State College is the place for you. Choose from short-term, high-demand career and technical education programs ranging from commercial vehicle driving to medical assisting. Call 850-484-2000.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Arthur Searcy in Pensacola today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Are you searching for a great bank in Pensacola? Your search ends here with Bank of Pensacola. At Bank of Pensacola, we go beyond just being a bank. We prioritize exceptional customer service to meet all your banking needs. Whether you're interested in our checking or savings accounts, CDs, IRAs, or auto and home loans, or even credit cards, we have the perfect solutions for you. Visit us today for more information.
ENS Prediction, the 11th. It's time for the annual Gospel Soul Bowl. Gospel Soul. Saturday, January 3rd, 2026. Live at the Greater True Vine Baptist Church, 130 North Pace Boulevard in Pensacola, Florida, where Isaac Williams is pastor. The 11th year of the Gospel Soul Bowl. And it's going to be live. Performing live, it's Pastor James McGee of the Humble Spirit. Dion Bell and the Brother. It's the Pastor Singer. Memphis, Tennessee's on the Brown Floor. The Wings of Faith, Divine Harmony, Saturday, January 3rd. The doors open at 3:30 p.m. The concert starts at 4:30 p.m. Greater True Vine Baptist Church in Pensacola. The scripture will be given to you by Minister Hubert Tillman. A prayer brought to you by Minister Michael D. Get ready for a solo by Michael Jackson. Your MC, Eddie Snell III. Hosted by the Spiritual Persuader. Get those tickets now. Advance ticket donation $30, $35 the day of the show. Get them at Goodfellas Barbershop, the original King's Barbershop, Reason Go Food Vendor. Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, the Gospel Soul Bowl. For more information, contact Eddie Snell at 850-525-7188.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. Christmas, we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance, 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 come on. Dance. We're gonna dance, dance, have a good time. Dance, dance, all night long. We're gonna dance, dance, and have a good time. I think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling, or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart.
All right, Pensacola, good morning, good morning, good morning. You got Vernon this morning. Yes, sir. Christmas time is up on us. Y'all better get out there and start shopping. I want to encourage you to go to Valor. Shop black. Make it a black Christmas. We tired of these white Christmases all the time. Make it a black Christmas this year, okay? Make it a black Christmas. Seems to me that's the only thing that's good that's associated with black. You know, Black Friday seems to be a good thing. So let's have a black Christmas this year, okay? All right, good morning, y'all. I got Mr. Jerry McIntosh, y'all, from the Movement for Change and all the good stuff. Good morning, Jerry. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great this morning, Bird. How you doing?
I'm doing better now. I got you on the line. Boy, you always look so sharp, Jerry. You make me shame. You make me shame to come on. Because I'm not were you in that Dapper program? That maybe they had some program the other day, a couple of weeks ago, called the Dandy Dappers or something like that. Were you a part of that? I wasn't sharp enough, so I didn't get invited.
Yeah, I was in it.
Were you really? Okay.
Yeah, I was in it.
I know you must have won. I bet you won first prize, didn't you?
No, they weren't giving out no prizes. So
no prizes, huh?
No prizes. So that would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been. It definitely would have been nice, Jerry. But anyway, good morning. How things going with you?
Everything's going good. I know you. We talked about last time I was on. We talked about Tallahassee.
Yeah.
We was headed to Tallahassee. As a matter of fact, we talked to you that morning while we was on the bus to Tallahassee. We were down there to pose the new redistricting role that they are trying to do, the Select Committee on Redistricting. We went down there to oppose that. Thing about it, they cut the meeting short once, because they saw all those people, coming from across the state. So they cut the meeting short. They did let some of one of their activist attorneys present the case why we shouldn't be doing redistricting and why it should not be done in the middle of the decade, because we already have done redistricting right after the census. And so what they are trying to do, and what the Supreme Court decision that came down in Texas, I don't know if the Supreme Court or the state Supreme Court, I got to look that up. But anyway, they upheld the redrawing of the districts in Texas. So, which means that it's going to, spread all across the country in these southern states. I know in Indiana, some of the Republicans are balking against it because they're saying it's a possibility that, you redistrict and you putting certain people in these districts that they're going to more than likely choose people who are less right wing or who are going to do less damage to the cause of the people there. So that's what they're concerned about. And then they know that once they do that, then you got California, you got New York, all these big states. You got Illinois and other countries like Maryland, other states like Maryland and all of that. They're going to follow suit, which is going to even more Democrats in the House. And so they're looking at the numbers. The numbers don't add up, and I'm glad they don't. But I hope that all these other states are not going to relinquish if Texas and all these other states move forward, then they need to move forward as well. You have to fight fire with fire now because there's too much at stake. And if you can't get more Democrats in, we'd never win again because I mean you'll never have any more representation again, and especially black and brown and representation. And they're trying to cut women out of it as well for mediocre white guys that have no knowledge or even try to do anything for the good of America. You can see that from what's happening now.
Right, that's true.
You know,
That is so true. It is saying that.
when you
That's
said
the thing.
something, yeah, okay, I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Are you hearing me now, sir? Maybe.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, we went there to make sure that they hear our voices. They may not change anything, but we want them to know that they're not just going to do it with us laying down. It's one of the things you always say. If a doormat, if you become a doormat, people gonna rock their foot on you, and so we refuse to be a doormat out there. So they don't think they can wipe their foot on us.
Well, so I'm glad that that y'all went to Tallahassee, because if you don't show up, go and show up, and have your voice concerned, they're gonna assume that. And I want to reiterate my scenario about being a doormat. If you lay down in front of a door and you don't move and people step on you, they're gonna think you're a doormat. They're gonna rub your feet all over you. You're gonna have to do something. Why? That was my frustration initially with the Democratic Party, because I'm sure that the Democratic Party is fighting back as hard as they can with what the resources that they have right now. But it don't sometimes seem so obvious with all of the overt stuff that the Republicans are doing right now, Jerry. I just don't see that. And you know what? And I want folks. I think, in my opinion, I think the Republicans are batshit crazy. Okay? I really do. But now that's the six of it, Jerry. But on the half a dozen side of it, you got so many. There's a reason why they're doing that. I need to understand their reasoning to be batshit crazy. And I'm gonna bring, Charles Thornton is one of the local Republicans here, and I'm gonna bring him on, and I'm gonna ask Charles about why the Republican Party is so bad. Maybe he can make sense of it. I don't know. Can you make sense of why they're doing what they're doing? It just don't make sense to me. But I need to hear the other side of it. What do you think?
Well, the racist democracies have put out there that, about the browning of America, and that there would not be a super majority minority in the country anymore, in the next 10, 15, 20 years. So everybody will be on an somewhat equal playing field, and the power will shift, somewhat, not in a major way, but somewhat, that people will have some kind of equal share at the table of the political arena. It don't mean that we're going to get everything we want. It means that they who have never had to negotiate with black and brown people on a level that they will have to in the future, if we still have a democracy, will not be just so much in the favor them all the time. And this is what has happened over the years. Everything has favored them all the time, and have left us out. In other words, that with promises made, but promises never kept. One of the things that the Democrats and Republicans did in the early '60s was, always upheld the Voting Rights Act, which gave us some seats at the table and put us, we were the biggest minority in Congress with 60 some Congress people. meaning that we could help. We could help determine the direction that the Democrat Party was going in, and also stop a lot of the shenanigans that the Republicans was doing to hold us back, and policies and all of that. And that's the thing. You got all these mediocre people don't understand policy, and they just there as from a loyalty standpoint, which is doing irreparable damage to the country. And if we don't, the American people stand up. And that means that white people as well as black people, and there's a lot of white people who are standing up. I say I'm fighting against the deportation of a lot of people in this country, but it's falling on deaf ear as far as the executive branch and many in the Republican Party are concerned, and that's unfortunate because these are the same people that help prop up Social Security in the country, a lot of the pension plans and health plans that we have, because they are not benefiting from Social Security. They are not benefiting from the taxes that they pay in to the country, but the people that are a citizen benefit from their labor and from their work that they do to make sure that we have sovereign Social Security, sovereign retirement programs that other people that's not citizens will never benefit from. So that's unfortunate that people can't see because they are out attacking brown people, and it run the gamut in white society, and they are so blind. You know, one of the great questions that Martin Luther King asked: how long will prejudice blind the vision of men? And that's what's happening right now. The vision of this country has become totally blind. You know, as you said before, slapstick blind. In other words, they just I'm just gonna slap myself till I'm just go totally blind, because I don't care. You know, as long as my association is white, I don't care if my family, my future generations have anything or not. I don't care if the rich is taken from me, long as I can point a finger at black people or brown people and other people on this planet. You know, so but now they're like the farmers. Now we're gonna have to bail the farmers out with our money. You know, we tried to tell the farmers early on, but it was the white farmers who filed the suit to block the money that Joe Biden had allocated. That when he signed the order to allocate money to the black farmers, but the white farmers filed a mega suit against us, and to stop us from getting anything. And Donald Trump turned around and slapped tariffs on them. Now they're paying the price. Many of them are losing their farms to these big MAGA farmers in the country, and what's the name that own Facebook and all of these? They are buying up all these small farmers, all the small farmland from
Mr.
white
Microsoft,
people.
what's his name? The guy that's in charge of Microsoft. He owns a big swath of farmland.
Yeah, and study buying. And they got I got to look up that name, but Hessek and all of these low down people, or they got this group, investment group, to buy up farmland and housing and all of that, and they are using the people that has their money has dried up. In other words, farmers whose money have dried up because they can't pay their bills, and so they're coming in and getting it for a little or nothing. And so the farmers, the white farmers, now see what we were seeing for the years. Out of the 20 million acres of land that we had in the country, because we couldn't get loans to redo replanting. We couldn't get seed money. We couldn't get money to buy tractors and combiners and all of the things that we need, the plows and all of that, to hire people to help in the farming processes. So they done everything they could to stop us, because they were taking our property, and they would plow up the and then just move to, where it was a road in between the properties and all that, they would plow the road up. So that means that they were moving their parts of their land over onto the black people land, and would then say, it's our property. So it was just so many things that they have done over the years, and now they are paying the price for the evil that they have put forward. And they got a demon in the White House who was just, who was even more demonic than they are. So now they're paying the price for that, what they have done. But black people are still losing property because we still, when you file that suit over the last 3 or 4 years, black people are still losing property because that suit caused them not to be able to get the loan that they want, caused them not to get and because black people don't understand farming, they didn't, we should have been doing lots to help black farmers, meaning that if a black farmer was in trouble, that we throw $1 or $2 or whatever we could in to make sure that farmer saved his farm and his land, or in housing and stuff that he had on it, the tractors that he need, it was a lot of things that could have been done that was not done. I think all of us been farmers at once. I know where I came up, we were farmers. And so, yeah, so we are a part of that class action suit. Excuse me, Vernon. We're part of that class action suit. So we are doing everything because my sister and them, they were in Arkansas this weekend to make sure that our suit is still intact. Everything and all the information that we need to make sure that keep moving forward.
Well, Jerry, sometimes, can you hear me, Jerry? Sometimes we can't see the trees from the forest. Okay, and I think sometimes there's a big smoke screen to keep people blind. Okay, and it's the bigger picture. The bigger picture here is that, and I think that, and this is my theory, my own personal theory. One of the things that got Dr. King assassinated in this country was because of his concept of poor people, the poor people march, and there's more poor people. It's not. It's about black and white, and brown, but it's also about the rich and the poor. The rich people,
Right.
the rich people are designed to keep the poor people poor so they can keep rich, but they do it in such a way that poor folks cannot see it, and they won't wake it up. But I think the Trump administration, some of the poor folks begin to see what we're talking about now, and in that the richest oligarchs, we're going to end up just like Russia, a whole bunch of rich folks controlling everything that the poor people are doing. That's why they buying up all these big slots of land and all this, and everything run by big corporate billionaires and trillionaires and so forth. And so if we can ever wake up the poor people, black folks, white folks, there's more poor white folks in this country than there is rich folks, and the more poor black folks and brown folks. And it's about the rich keeping the poor down because they don't. That's why we are against socialism, because they don't want to share the wealth. They want to just control. And as one of the things that they're doing, I feel, again, is my opinion, is that one of the biggest barriers that we face today is because what's my boy name? Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie is right. Is there no reason in the world why 3% of the population control 97% of the 3% control 97% of the wealth in this country.
Right.
It don't make any sense, Jerry.
No, it don't. It don't. And on top of that, like Mondani in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what he ran on, Democrat socialism. Well, most people in this country don't understand what socialism means and what it is. Socialism means that you and I, we pay X amount of tax to run schools, to build highways, to for Social Security, for pensions, and all of that. You know, to make sure that we have clean water in the country. Just a whole host of things. It's social programs. Social Security is a socialist program. Welfare is a socialist program. Where
Giving money to the farmers is a socialist program.
It's a social program. Well, our whole country has always been built on socialism, but the rich and powerful make people think that capitalism is the way to go. It is for them.
Yeah, right.
Because
Exactly.
they like a vacuum cleaner. They sucking all the finances away from the masses of us, and then try to make you seem like you're a parasite for wanting more. If you're working, you ought to get at least a decent wage, a livable wage. But the majority of the people in this country don't get a livable wage. It used to be that one person could take care of the household. Not anymore. It take two people, and then sometimes it take two people working two jobs because the minimum wage in America is still $7 and something an hour. Some states have raised their minimum wage, but the federal minimum wage is $7 and something an hour. And this is why they're trying to declassify nursing and all of these other programs that has benefit, especially women, single women who have gotten a degree in nursing, who have went on to become assistants in their nursing to the doctor, that the different teachers who have exploded, the women exploded in the field of education, and Black women in particular exploded in education, period, because they're the most educated group in the country. And so what they're trying to do, they will say, okay, we can't have this. We got to declassify these programs and make them less than what they should be. And that means that we can pay them less than what we can pay them now. And it's a lot of, believe it or not, in my research, I saw it's a lot of doctors are for this thing, and it's the nurses that who most of the time save the life of the people. A doctor can do surgery and all that, but you are become like on a conveyor belt for them. Once they do their part, it's up to the nurses to take care of you from day to day, hour to hour, during that day, and 24 hours a day. It's nurses, it's not the doctors. And sometimes a lot of them you won't even see them for 3 or 4, maybe the next day, if then. So that's how insidious and asinine this thing is, and how it got to be. And then I was looking at Trump and them trying to get more power in the executive branch, which to put more pressure down on the people of this country. And the Supreme Court need to be impeached. Those 6 people that's on them in the Supreme Court need to be removed from office, or you need to put more people on the courts to balance it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because this is ridiculous. The Supreme Court is supposed to be a neutral orbiter of all the things that when they come before them, that they look at the thing with justice, with eye based on justice, not on ideology. And that's what has happened. Everything is based on ideology in the Supreme Court now. And you got that long Negro, Clarence Thomas, who is the worst of the worst.
Uncle Thomas.
He's the worst of the worst, and he's doing damage to the Black community like nobody else, because he has a seat at the table, which along with Ketanji Brown Jackson and others who could help sway some of the other people to vote in the direction that they would need to vote in, for the good of the country, but they're not doing it, and it's
well, Jared. I mean, I think we're definitely in trouble. They got the White House, they got Congress, they got the Senate, and they got the Supreme Court. And
Yeah.
so how do we find our way out of this situation, Jerry? What do you think? How do we
You know,
get out of it?
we've said so many times that elections have consequences.
Right.
If we elect the wrong people, that's the consequences we're going to suffer under. Until we decide that, okay, I need to get up and do something about these conditions because it's doing irreparable damage to me and my children and generation yet unborn. And this is what is happening. They're building private prisons in this country, just like you build housing. You know, when they talk about affordable housing, now they talking about private prison. They talking about housing that you can live in, housing that you can have build a family in. They're talking about private prison systems in this country. And then on top of that, they got contracts with the states that we're going to keep, you have to keep a capacity at least 80%, between 70 and 80%, meaning that people that have even committed a crime or some misdemeanor, you're going to end up in that private prison because the government, they're going to make sure that you are there so they can pay these people, these investors who have invested into the prison industrial complex. And so, which is, when they said school of prison pipeline, they ain't playing.
Well, Jerry, what some people, I said, people need to read the history, and the reason that it's like that is because when they passed the 13th Amendment, when they freed the slaves and so forth, they had one exception to that rule. And that rule was that if you're in prison, you can still be slaved in prison.
Yeah.
And that's why black folks are still in the prisons today, because they put them in there for little or no reason in order to enslave them and so forth. So that's how we got there, folks.
Right. And people still, when they seem shocked when you tell them that the 13th Amendment was a compromise for those white farmers, slave or former slave owners that took place on, what was his name? The president, was it Andrew Jackson?
Talking about after the Civil War, or before the Civil War. It was Lincoln freed them, but after when Lincoln freed the slaves, okay, and when he got assassinated, then you had this Southerner, Andrew Johnson. Johnson was.
That's
Johnson.
it. Yeah.
He undone a lot of the things that there was intent behind this, because he was a racist and he was a Southerner
and a slave owner. Yeah, he was
a slave owner. Right.
Yeah. And so they made the compromise on the 13th Amendment. The 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment was written for us. But when they made that compromise on the 13th Amendment, that you are free except if you go to jail.
Right.
Prison was hardly, it was hardly any prison in the country. You go back and study what it said. It was maybe 5 or 6 prisons in the whole country. There was where it held people for long periods of time. Now, there were jails that, in just about every county.
Right.
But the prison system was never like it is now. And that all came about after the freedom of the so-called freedom. And we have to be clear about Lincoln. Lincoln did not want to be the one free the slaves. He, to sign the bill that freed the slave, because the slaves freed themselves through fighting in wars alongside people, because the Union was losing.
The Union needed.
They were losing.
The Union needed those soldiers, those black soldiers, and that was a compromise. That's the reason the Emancipation Proclamation come back, because they needed black folks. We're gonna need them, so we're gonna give you freedom to do that.
Yeah, and Frederick Douglass was one of the advocates that, wait a minute, if we fight, we want to be free. And Frederick Douglass, back in his day, that dude was making some speeches that people are afraid to make today. As an abolitionist, that dude was some kind of person. If you read his speeches, and when the one he talked about what the 4th of July is to the black man, and but people think that speech was made on the 4th of July. He didn't make it on the 4th. He made it on the 5th. Because he refused to speak to them on the 4th. And he said, he said, if you look at what you are doing, he said, you are worse than all the tyrants and murderers around the world. And he said, what you are saying is nothing but bombast. he was talking about them bad. He talked about them to their face in a major speech. But Douglass and others, they were adamant about freeing the slaves. He knew once that thing got on the road, it was never going back.
Right.
It was never going back. And one of the things he said, he understood that you had to build schools and use newspapers and all that. He understood that because he started. And then he was a part of the Freeman's Bank. He understood that you had to have money. And what he said was, a free man, a man that can read and write, can't be a slave, because he know what you know now. He know exactly what you know. But the thing about it, you got that mentality that had, you got the children and grandchildren of slave owners are still here with that same mentality. That's part of their DNA. And if we don't understand that, we're in trouble in this country. And, the thing about it, the same people that we went to school with, the same people that we went to school with, when they get into corporate America, you are not coming to corporate America. We were just in school. We played basketball together. We went to class together, but that was in school. Now we're talking finance. And that's why you were saying, going back to Martin Luther King and the Poor People Campaign.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King understood that you had to bring white, black, Appalachians, Indians, everybody together. Well, indigenous is not Indian. That's the name somebody else gave. The indigenous people
of this country, right?
Yeah,
Americans,
to say that we want a livable wage, and we demand a livable wage. And this is why they had to stop him before he got that campaign up off the ground.
Exactly. That's very dangerous. So, and that's what if you get the poor people to rise up in this country, it'll change the total trajectory of this country. But as long as we can lure them to sleep and keep them sleeping and feed them, just give them handouts to keep them happy, then the rich folks going to control and win. It's all about power for them. But once they understand the power that the people has, Jerry, then we will change how this country is going. Hey, Jerry, before we go, I read this morning, I'm just trying to turn the page just a little bit, that Jasmine Crockett is going to run for Senate. What are your comments?
I believe she got a great chance, because for one thing, Jasmine Crockett, one of the smartest sisters in this country. And one of the things she has shown, that she will not back down on anybody, and her intellect and the way she can use language is powerful. And so she know the issues, and I know that there are others who have run in Texas who knew the issues, but the timing now is different. The white folks are suffering. Hispanic people out there, who are the majority of the people in Texas, many of them saw, the proximity to whiteness as a panacea to financials, to business acromens, all of that they saw was, they felt like they were white until they took their mamas away, because mamas weren't citizens. They were born here, but their children were born here, but the mamas weren't born here. The daddies weren't born here.
Born here, right?
like the guy had 3 sons that was in the military, in the
Right.
Marines.
Right.
We don't care. He got to go. His sons now fighting for this country.
Exactly.
And
Protecting this country, but they have no remorse, no respect
right.
for that. Okay.
Right. Wow. And it's unfortunate that and I saw just like these guys from Somalia out there in Maryland. They didn't want to have proximity to black people. This guy Muhammad and all of them, they endorsed Trump. And now Trump, wow, what did Trump just say about him? They taken billions and billions and billions of dollars away from the country, and they don't produce nothing. And he called them all kinds of names. The Venezuelans, they, all of these people had these big concerts for Trump. Now, Trump is killing them out in the ocean. Trump is threatening to go to war with them, to overthrow their government, to do regime change over there. So it's just a whole host of things that they are doing that all these people was thought that Trump was the like a god, and then you had last time I was checking, it's almost 20% of black people voted for that fool. And he on TV calling people fat pigs, and he called the sister that asked him a question about other day stupid, and she's the worst, and she's a fake ABC News, fake news. Just the whole, I mean, when you look at all of the
Jerry, that is the perfect example of what I call being a doormat. Okay, he could throw out all kinds of insults that he wants. He knew he can. Nobody pushes back on it. Nobody called his fat ass fat. Nobody called him stupid, which he is. All of those. Instead of them, I know they want to keep the job. I do, but and everybody else may be afraid to call him out. But he needs to be called out for his behavior, and nobody's called him out for his behavior. And so he allowed to get away with it, and it's madness. It's crazy why they allowed that to happen. I cannot imagine in this world anybody else with decency. Well, maybe because they see that he has no decency, and maybe they don't consider is worthy of doing that. But Barack Obama or any other president, Joe Biden, even George Bush, any other president have done those things anywhere near that, it would have been drugged out of office. Okay, why is this damn fool allowed to get away with crap like that? I don't understand that. And everything he says is a lie, Jerry, and nobody calls him down on it as a lie. Nobody fact checks him in real time. He allowed to do that shit, and people believe it because nobody fact checks him on it. Go ahead, Jerry.
Right, and anybody else would have been ridiculed. Like you say, drug out of the White House. The Congress Republicans that let Trump get away with this would have had 99 babies, at 100 years old. So that's the kind of mentality that's in this country right now. This is the kind of people that's running the country. The sycophants, the psycho babble people that has nothing to say do, but they are running their mouths day in and day out. Whenever we look at all the agencies that are being destroyed in this country, and if the Supreme Court give him the kind of power they are talking about giving him to the executive branch, we're gonna be in trouble in this country because this fool gonna use it. People have shown restraint when they're in the White House. They've tried to, at least make the people feel like, okay, we're doing what we're supposed to do in the country, but he don't care.
Yeah.
Because he gave his son his son got a Pentagon contract for $600 million. $600 million. And his son only got 50 people working for, and it's an organization. From what I was reading, the organization they just set it up so he could get that money.
Well, Jerry,
$600 million for his family.
well,
Almost a billion.
that the only hope that we have is on the horizon is that we need to get out and vote in the 2026 election. Okay, the only thing I was reading about the Supreme Court, they are poised to expand more executive powers. Now, the only thing that can override a Supreme Court decision is a law. Is a law,
right?
Okay, and Congress can introduce a law and to change things. And so that's why it's so important that people register to vote for the 2026 election, because we need to get control of Congress and the Senate. And if we can control Congress and the Senate, we can pass laws to change every damn thing that Trump is doing. Everything that Trump is doing can be changed. Okay, because his is executive order. Public law supersedes that.
Right.
Okay. And so, folks, you need to get out and vote. We're going to have to get Derek on one day this week to talk about getting people to vote, Jerry. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say, on Thursday we could all be on together, him and to talk about voting and what we need to do to make sure that we people that have that right to vote, if they have the right. But if they keep on the trajectory that is going now, you won't even have a right to vote in the country. And and that's when all hell will break loose. Because what they don't understand is what you do to black people, you're doing to white people as well. What they fail to realize, at least 70% of black people are doing pretty well in the country. At least 70%. Only between 20-some% and 30% are doing, not doing as well as they should.
Should be, yeah.
But you're talking millions of white people who are doing bad in this country. You're talking about at least 40 to 50%, because they never had to suffer the way we had to suffer. We know how to take something and take nothing and make
something out of it. Yeah.
We're
survivors.
We have made soup off of bones. So that's where we are. But for them, they don't know how to do that yet. But they better learn. They better learn quick. But the thing about what they better learn is that black people, are not their enemy. We never were their enemy. They were the rich whites who were their enemies, who has always been their enemy. And Johnson said a long time ago, said, if you can make the lowest white man feel like he's better than the wealthy or more intelligent black man, you don't have to, you can pick his pocket. As a matter of fact, he'll open his pocket to you and give you, because that's what he has to have somebody to look down on. And that's the kind of mentality that the rich and powerful use, and they use the media so successful over the last 300-400 years to make them focus on you. When you see the face of welfare, it's black people. When there's always been the majority of white people that was on welfare and getting
but
services.
That's the hoodwink that they're doing. White people are being hoodwinked and they don't know it, Jerry. But Jerry, we're gonna have to wrap it up for today. But you'll be back on Thursday, and hopefully we can let's talk about more important. We're gonna talk about the more important things on Thursday about making sure that you register to vote, because 2026 election, we say it always in more important. Every year it always be more consequential than the year before. You know that. So we're gonna have to be able to vote to get back into power. 26.
Right. And it usually is. And it's not just language that we're using to get people to vote. That's the fact. Every time we say that, because the vote done dropped off. People took for granted that everything was going to be all right. The big fish that we thought we caught when we got it to shore, it was, all the other fish had and ate all the meat off. You got the bone. You got the carcass. That's all you got.
All right, Jerry. Thank you. I appreciate it. So you'll be back on Thursday. We're back on tomorrow. I'm hoping Jerry. I had scheduled Charles Thorne tomorrow at 8:00. I want to get the other side of their thinking. I just don't understand the thinking. But maybe, I always got a saying is somebody tell you got a tail and you don't have a tail. Something is there. You might have your belt hanging down, or you might be tripping on something. So, but you better look out for it. So tomorrow, folks, we're gonna be back at 6:30 in the morning, from 6:30 for morning with Vernon, coffee with Vernon, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see you then. Jerry, thank you for coming on, and I'm gonna go off on this blues song, Jerry, that I call "The Players Caught Me Begging." You know how brothers think they cool, and until that lady get ready to go out the door,
yeah.
get ready to leave, you break down. Then you'll break down. All right, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Y'all listen to this before I get out of here, okay? Thank you, Jerry. All right.
All right.
This is called "The Player Caught the Begging Blues." Here you go. You enjoy this, Jerry. Don't hang up. You enjoy it.
Yeah. Let me tell y'all something. I don't run behind no woman. I don't chase. I'm a certified, verified, dignified player from the Himalayas. Yeah, that's what I told the fellas. We was all out talking that big boy game, talking about how I don't miss her name. Said, man, she gone cool, less bills to pay. Had them all laughing like I'm okay. But soon as that door hit that click, I dropped my pride and my voice went quick. Grabbed my phone, hit a number twice. Said, baby, please, I can change my life. I'm a player from the Himalayas. Yeah. Right? Crying in the kitchen, sliding on towels.
Said I'm smooth as velvet,
cool as ice. Ooh. But I'm begging that woman like she my Lord. Oh,
the player caught the begging blues.
Ooh. Man, I was on my knees like I dropped my keys. Said, girl, I'll wash some dishes, I'll rub them knees. She said, didn't you tell your friends you done? I said I was talking tough, baby, just having fun. Now she's smirking, walking around in that robe, and I'm humming the blues while I fold her clothes. She said, thought you was Mr. Player, no chaser. I said, yeah, but can we talk about later? I'm a player from the Himalayas.
He lied,
texting paragraphs,
tears on the dial.
Swore he'd never beg,
never lose his cool.
Now he's singing in the rain, looking like a fool. Oh, Lord.
So the player caught the begging blues.
Ooh, yo. Now, fellas, we all talk tough around the table, but let that love walk out the door. You turn into Key Sweat with a cash app. Ha. I'm a player from the Himalayas, crying to the ceiling fan. Oh, save us. Oh, pride on pause.
Ego on mute.
That woman got me begging in
Pensacola. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same station. With Vernon in the morning. Thank y'all. See you tomorrow.